Okay, so this is the over-under league. So, first thing we're going to talk about is win projections. Every year, casinos put out odds on how many games each NBA team is likely to win. This is called the over-under. If you think a team will be better than the odds, you bet on their over. If you think it will be worse, you bet on their under. The win totals all have an extra 0.5 on them, you can see in this column, so that there's no ties. So, for instance, BetMGM gives the Detroit Pistons a 46.5 game win total projection. If at the beginning of the season I was to bet on their under and they end up winning 46 games, I win. If they end up winning 47 games, I lose. In our over-under league, you draft multiple overs or unders, and points are scored based on how good your predictions were. So going back to the Pistons example, if I had drafted the Pistons under and they ended up winning 46 games, I would get 0.5 points because they finished 0.5 games under their projected win total. So this chart will be updated the day of the draft and will be available for everyone to see. The best way to explain it is with an example. So here's an example league with 3 members who each draft 2 over-unders. For this example, it is their draft day, which we'll call October 21st, 2025. Evelyn is a basketball expert, and she has the first pick of the draft. She has paid close attention to the Bulls, who are expected to win 33.5 games. She thinks Bulls guard Josh Giddey had a good offseason and thinks they will have more than 33 wins, so she drafts the Bulls over. Next up is Timothy. He doesn't really care about basketball, but loves gambling, so he rolls a dice and drafts the Rockets under. They are expected to win 52.5 games. With the last pick, we have James. James knows a little about basketball, but he also went to summer camp with Mavericks guard Kyrie Irving. The Mavericks are expected to win 41.5 games, but James knows that Kyrie is a believer in the power of yoga. James also knows that yoga is in fact devil magic and will inevitably result in calamity, so James drafts the Mavericks under. Now this draft is what we call a snake draft, so the order is reversed in the second round, and it's James' turn to draft again. James has always been a mentor to Lakers forward Luka Doncic, so he knows that NBA Commissioner Adam Silver has kidnapped the real Luka Doncic and has replaced him with a skinnier body double. The Lakers are expected to win 46.5 games, but without the real star, they likely won't be as good. So James drafts the Lakers under. Next up is Timothy again. Another dice roll tells him the Miami Heat will win more than 37.5 games, so he drafts the Heat over. And with the last pick of the draft, we are back to Evelyn. She's been studying Spurs center Victor Wembanyama and noticed that he trained with Kevin Garnett over the summer. She thinks that Garnett pushed Wemby too hard and he'll get injured this season. They are expected to win 44.5 games, so she drafts their under, thinking that without Wembanyama, they will not be very good. Kinda shitty to draft based on expectations of injuries, but that's just Evelyn. So now what? Well, in this league, there's no trades, there's no roster management, no work to be done after draft day. You just get to root for your teams. So Evelyn gets to root for the Bulls in every game they play, and Timothy will root for the Rockets to lose each and every game they play. James doesn't really watch basketball, and that's okay too. Watching is not a requirement. Fast forward to the end of the season, nothing has changed because the expected win totals were locked in on the day of the draft. Now it's April of 2026, and the NBA season has just ended. Let's see how each player did. So the highlight color tells you whether the player drafted the over, which is in green, or the under, which is in red. Halfway through the season, Josh Giddey was arrested, and the Bulls did not end up doing very well. They only won 28 games, which is 5.5 games under the expected win total. Spurs, on the other hand, discovered the power of friendship and tied NBA regular season win record with 73 wins. This is 28.5 games over what they were expected to win. So the Bulls ended up under and the Spurs ended up over, but Evelyn drafted the opposite of that, so she loses points on both teams for a total of minus 34 points. Next, we have Timothy with the Rockets under and the Heat over. The Rockets end up winning 51 games, which is fewer than expected 52.5, so he gets 1.5 points from that. The Heat did a lot better than expected and won 45 games, which is 7.5 games better than expected, so he gets 7.5 points for that. And lastly, we have James. He drafted the Mavs and Lakers unders. The Mavs were indeed cursed by Kyrie's devil practices and finished with only 20 wins. And the Lakers could not get good production out of fake skinny Luka, so they ended up with only 18 wins. Because James took their unders, he gets 21.5 points from the Mavs and 28.5 points from the Lakers for a total of 50 points. So, in the end of the season, James wins it with 50 total points, Timothy comes in second with 9 points, and Evelyn loses with minus 34 points. And this will be what it looks like. It's just kind of a Google Drive. It's all the same information. This is what's going to be locked in on draft day. This is the team, the over or the under, and the projected win total that, again, was locked in on draft day. And then this will all be calculated at the end of the season based on NBA team performance. So let me know if you have any questions or if anything was confusing from this.